Barack Obama makes a very good point about affirmative action never being a complete answer in the drive towards a more just society. But it was at least a start, even if it wasn't perfect. Affirmative action did not just come out of nowhere because African Americans in America had it so good in the 50s and the 60s. Okay, in the South, up until I believe either the late 1950s or the early 1960s, if you were an African American, you had to take a test in order to be eligible to vote. And the answers to those questions were impossible. Like one of the questions on those tests were, how many bubbles are in a bar of soap? You see this sweet little girl right here? Her name is Ruby Bridges. She's the first African American girl to go to an all white elementary school back in 1960 in Louisiana, and she is being escorted by federal marshals because of threats to her well being. Same thing happened in Little Rock High School, where these young girls are just trying to go to a public high school that was just desegregated, and look at the hate that she's facing. All of this was happening not long ago. This is 1960 when we were supposed to be more advanced. This girl, Ruby Bridges, she's still alive. She's in her 60s now. If you don't think this kind of hate trickled into the overall system in the South and even some parts of the North, then you're crazy. You're lying to yourself. When there is an entire system going against you based on the color of your skin, regardless of how smart you are, how good you are, how much money you have, then something needs to be done. That was the intention of the people who passed affirmative action. Now, I've never been an oppressed minority. I've never been an African American man or woman, but I do know this. The United States has had a long history of oppression, suppression, deprivation, and aggravation against African Americans for a very long time. Some of it still happens to this day, and that has long-term consequences that impacts African Americans more than any other nationality in this country. For centuries, African Americans have had opportunities stolen from them, from the system, from other whites, from other people who had wealth. And the consequences of all that are the negative statistics that are always brought to our attention in the news. Children suffer the most. How are they going to get any kind of opportunity in education if they don't have the educational resources at their disposal that people of better means do? And maybe some African American kids do get into college just because of the color of their skin. But if that is the only thing that got them in there, it will not keep them there. A lot of the kids who just get in on any kind of free ride usually fail out in 1 or 2 semesters. But what about the ones that don't fail out? The ones that stay and progress and excel because of the opportunity that was given to them that they never would have had any other way. Now that is taken away from them. All right? The pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing doesn't work if you don't even have a pair of boots in the first place.